your idea get ignored, and then 10 minutes later, all of a sudden, your male colleague repeats it, and suddenly it's brilliant. You're not imagining it, and you're not alone. In fact, this happens to so many brilliant women leaders that I work with across all kinds of industries, seniority levels, and regions. So today, I want to walk you through the 5 hidden signs that your credibility is being dismissed in very subtle but costly ways and what you can do about it. Hi, I'm Kim. I'm a 20 plus year corporate leader turned executive coach. After spending years as the only woman in senior rooms, I now help high performing women leaders get recognized, respected, and promoted, all without burning out or playing small. So let's dive into that first sign. And you're going to want to save this video or share it with a colleague because there is so much gold in here. And if you recognize yourself, please let me know. So sign number 1, I just said that syndrome, right? You've presented a very carefully researched proposal. Your points get talked over or met with blank stares, but then 20 minutes later, Bob from accounting restates your exact idea, and suddenly everyone's going, yeah, that's great. That's just what we need. Praising his innovative thinking. And you're like, well, hold on a minute. Like, I said that, but it just doesn't feel right to stick your hand up or call attention to that, because all of a sudden then you're no longer a team player. So the follow-up and everything going on after that credits him for bringing this excellent insight to the table. And you're just like, well, I guess another one bit the dust. Sign number 2, just take some notes dismissal. So this is where you're already, right? You've probably researched a strategic strategic discussions that's coming up. You've researched exactly what needs to be done. You've got your plan in place. You've got risks assessments, and you've got like backup plan on backup plan. And you get to the meeting and someone's assuming, oh, you're there to take minutes, or even worse, could you grab me a cup of coffee on your way back? Right? So your input, all that strategic insight that you were going to bring to this meeting starts getting labeled as more the tactical feedback versus actually being that insight that's needed to drive those decisions forward. And you're still expected to handle the execution because, hey, you're fantastic at getting that, like handling all those operational crises, but other people get to start shaping the strategy. And you're finding yourself in situations where the real decisions are happening when you're not even invited to. I was speaking to one woman later, and she's like, we had set out a direction. There was decisions made while I was in the room. And then in a couple of days later, it's like, oh yeah, well, we met for breakfast and had a round of golf. And yeah, we've decided that this is the direction that we're going to go in now. And she's like, what the hell? So if that's happening to you, if you're finding that it's like, well, just take notes or go grab a cup of coffee for us, that's a dismissal. It's a definite sign that your ideas are getting ignored while your male colleagues, when they share them and read them, are getting all the credit, but also all the opportunities for advancement, recognition, etc. Sign number 3, that team effort deflection. So let's put it this way, you probably do this a bit yourself, but also your leaders, etc., do that for you as well, which is where, hey, you got a project that you've completed and it gets reflected back like that was a great team effort. Now, again, when I said you will do this yourself likely as well, as because you don't want to put yourself forward too much. And as women, we get pretty harshly judged whether if we're being arrogant or if we are promoting or bragging too much. So we tend to play that down by saying, well, it was a great team effort. Our team did it. Like, I've got to right. But what happens is not only are you deflecting it, but also everybody around you is going to start deflecting that as well. Or they may already do that even without you doing that. So when one of your male colleagues, let's call him Bob from accounting again, has a project that succeeds, they get congratulated on their excellent leadership of that project. Whereas when it's your turn, it's like, hey, that was a really great team effort. Glad that you accomplished that, right? You're introduced as someone that helps with initiatives, even if you're leading that initiative or leading that project. It's not really something that you get recognized for of like you're the leader of that. And your role also gets downplayed in different client presentations or in different meeting rooms. And others start taking credit for your relationships as well as your results. So if you find yourself in sign number 3, the team effort deflection, then this is again another sign showing that you don't have the credibility or that your ideas are not going to keep getting ignored because, hey, we're going to listen to somebody else instead of you. The fourth sign is let's prove it again pattern. So what does that mean? Hey, you show up with your idea of like, this is what I propose that we're going to be doing. And all of a sudden you need like 3 different spreadsheets to make your case. You need to have had like all these client conversations. You need to have like gotten all these stakeholders on board before we could even possibly consider that line of thinking or those actions that you're proposing. Whereas again, Bob from accounting, your colleague, your male colleague comes in and is like, well, we're making decisions. I'm going to base it like, it's just based off my gut feeling. And all of a sudden it's like, well, hold on a minute. Like we're not basing that on any kind of data, but the gut feeling is good enough. And then all of a sudden, when we look at your careful analysis and all the preparation you've done, it starts to be seen as like, oh, well, you're indecisive because you've had to do you put a lot of work into this, but you haven't really come clear with a clear recommendation. Or even if you've got valid concerns about what possibly could happen, you get dismissed as being risk averse and therefore not being seen as leadership potential. So you're getting filed for your leaders, for your colleagues as like we're building credibility while they are showing leadership potential. Now, sign number 5 is what I call the despite your experience doubt. Now, this has happened and this happens too often. And just even recently, I had this happen to one of my clients and she's like, I applied for the next senior level role and I wasn't hired because I didn't have what they quote unquote called the right experience, only to see another male, not a colleague in this case, but a male applicant that did receive the job that was lacking the exact experience that disqualified her for that position. And it's like, what happened? Right. And that was in a sense like her decades of experience was question of like, well, is that really lining up to what we need to have? You keep having to prove that your experience, your capability is more than enough, while that male colleague just kind of like, as long as they show up confidently enough and have a good story, they are able to skate past. Now, I don't want this to be, I'm going to put a caveat in here. I don't want this to be negative about men because I've worked with really great male colleagues throughout my career and also have had really great male mentors, but there is a double standard for women. So another piece of this that, Warren, when we talk about despite your experience doubt, it's like, you know what? You're getting interrupted with explanations about your own area of expertise, like the mansplaining going, ugh. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I know what I'm talking about. Like, please don't regurgitate things that I already look at. Or your judgment gets second guessed and they actually look to your team members to confirm, is that correct? The assumption correct? Well, this isn't how you wanted to see it, right? All of these signs, each of these signs pulled together is making it so that you aren't getting the credibility or the authority to be seen as a credible partner. With one of my clients, what she was finding in this too is, and we haven't even talked about that time, but we're going to add it in as a bonus here, is like, oh my God, like my CEO went off to the golf course, was chatting with an acquaintance, and then comes back with a whole bunch of ideas as to what we should be doing strategically for this department and for this organization. And like, I have to like spend the time to explain again why that doesn't work, why it doesn't fit within our strategy. But he's not coming to me and sparring with me about that exact strategy of how do we see our organization developing, and because that is my responsibility, but he isn't coming to me. So if this has happened to you, please let me know because I'd love to support you in that. I've got a couple of ways for you. Again, follow me if this is the first time you're watching. because I share information and all kinds of tips and strategies to help you as a high performing woman leader get recognized, respected, and promoted. And you can share this with someone that you think, hey, they need to hear this today as well. And if you want some very specific proven strategies that are going to help you gain recognition inside your organization within 7 days, I want you to drop me the word comment below or DM me the word checklist. So DM me the word checklist, because then I'm going to send you my Boardroom Whisper checklist. Now, this has several strategies that you can walk through and implement in your next meeting, in your next conversation with your CEO or with your senior leaders. That is going to increase your recognition and also build your credibility extremely fast so that this doesn't happen anymore. So for example, the client that got passed over for another applicant who had less experience than her is now the one that's getting invited into the boardroom to have the conversations with the most senior leaders in our organization. So I know this works. My clients know this works. So it's your turn to get your hands on that as well. So DM me the word checklist or comment below for checklist, and I'll get that to you. If you've got any questions other than that, I'd love to hear them. Drop them in the comments. And if this is you, please drop a heart in the comments below and let me know what resonated the most with you for today, and which one of these 5 signs, well, actually 6, because I added a bonus in the end, which one of these are you going to stop doing today and start making an impact and making a difference in how you show up and how you lead. All right, we'll catch you again on the next time. Thanks very much.